guns in the shadows of the night.
I have an admission to make. I am a tool holder-aholic. I just like having bountiful tool holders. Here's my current collection. And I'm giving some of those away to a buddy of mine, so I want to do some backfilling. I've also started using some more metric tooling, so I wanted to get some metric-specific set screw style holders as well. So I came across iCarbide, and I thought, wow, these are cheaper than buying from Tormach. Why don't I get some and see how they do? Real quick, what is my relationship to iCarbide? I was going to buy these. I called them up because there's an Amazon review that says if you get the set that comes with the R8 collet, the R8 collet, although it has the right threads and the right size, it does not fit the Tormachs. So I called them up to ask them if that was true. They said it should fit the Tormach. I have tested this on my Tormach, and as you can see here, it sticks out further than the flat section that your TTSs should butt up against. So it is indeed not usable on the Tormach. However, you get 3 tool holders for less than the price, I believe, of buying them separately. So does it really matter in the end? Probably not. It is the same size as the Tormach in terms of length, though, so it is odd that that happens. It must be something with the taper diameter or something. Either way, I was on the phone with them. I told them that I was going to do a bunch of testing of the tool holders when I bought them, and they did offer me a discount because I was going to do that. But as you'll see here, that doesn't matter. We're only going to look at data. I'm not going to give you a single damn opinion. 100% data is what we will look at. So what are we going to be doing? You'll notice I took all the collets I bought and I put them away. We're not going to be analyzing collets today. We are going to be analyzing the runout of just the tool holders. What you see here is me setting a baseline for y'all for the runout on my spindle of my Tormach 770M. You can see here that it is a very consistent 0.2 of a thousandth. So that is our baseline. Now, I admittedly don't have a good way of getting the runout of the Tormach R8 collet that's in there because it's those kind of multiple pieces that squeeze together. And you don't get good readings without something to grab onto and whatnot. So let's talk about the methodology that I'll be using to handle that. Firstly, we're going to take examples where I have both a Tormach OEM holder and the new iCarbide ones that I bought. We're not going to do absolutely every single holder in here. What we're going to be using is we are going to compare a Tormach 1/4" set screw style holder to a 1/4" set screw style holder from iCarbide. Where is that? Right here. We are going to compare a ER20 holder without the collet, just the actual taper on the inside, to a ER20 collet again from iCarbide. And then finally, not shown here, I've also got an ER16 collet that you'll see me comparing Tormach OEM to the iCarbide. All of the iCarbide ones are brand new. As you can see, my Tormach ones have been well loved over time. So just keep that in mind as we start looking at numbers. That's one of the things I'm going to do. We are going to compare OEM to iCarbide, and that way the runout inherent in the R8 collet of my spindle, you can not get rid of it from the equation, but you can see how it is or is not affecting each brand. The other way that we are going to handle this is for every single tool holder that I test, we are going to test it in 4 positions. I'm going to test it once, then we're going to pull it out of the spindle, turn it a quarter, put it back in, and test it again 4 times. So we are going to essentially try and see if we can minimize the runout inherent in my spindle and R8 collet in our testing. And so you can see the difference in runout every time we turn it. The way that we'll be doing that is I will go set the measurement. We will have the Mitutoyo 1/10 of a thou indicator set nicely so that we don't have any cosine error involved. So that will be straight up and down for our set screw, and then following the taper of the inside of the ER collets for those tests. We will set a 0 position. That way we can do the test, pull it away, take it out, turn it, put it back in, send our Mitutoyo test indicator right back to our 0. And then if necessary, we can move the y-axis to reset our 0 as I turn it. I will be turning it from up at the top of the drawbar for most tests, but in several instances you will see me actually reach down and turn it manually around this section, just to prove to you guys that it doesn't matter where I turn it, up top of the drawbar or down here, the readings are the same. Let's go do the tests. Okay, we are back and the tests are done. These are the 4 iCarbide holders that I actually tested. 4 instead of the 3 that I told you I was going to, because I started with the 1/4 of an inch ones and I ended up testing both of them that I had. And when I throw up the results, you'll see why. All right, let's look at the results. On this table, you'll see that we have a row for each of the tools we tested, double for the iCarbide 1/4 inch set screw one, because I ended up testing both of those. And the reason for it is the first test I got 4.5 tenths of a thou, 7, 6, and 6.5. And I was wondering if that was accurate, so I grabbed the other one and I got 1, 2.5, 5, and 5. So similar results there. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go back to testing just one of each. All the numbers are in tenths of a thou. So when you see a 2, that's run out of 2 tenths of a thou total measured at the Mitutoyo indicator, as you saw when I was showing things. I tried to show you guys a lot of the tests on video, but as you can see, there were a bunch of them. So I didn't show absolutely every single one, or else you guys would have been bored out of your minds. But what we can see here is our columns coordinate with the brand iCarbide versus Tormach OEM. Each tool has 4 tests, because like I said, I would move them a 1/4 of a turn and retest so that we could try and cancel out some of the runout of the spindle and the R8 collet in there. I'm not going to go through every single result. I'm going to show now a second table. And this is our averages and the total range of motion in terms of runout that we got per tool. Let's start with the 1/4 of an inch one. One of them had an average ever so slightly more than the Tormach. However, it had a much larger deviation range. The first one we did, though, was about twice as much runout from the OEM Tormach, but it did have a lower deviation range. However, that was still larger than Tormach's. When we get to the ER collets, we're looking at over double the average compared to Tormach, but the range is only about 50% greater. And then again with our ER20, we're looking at about a 3x deviation in average between the two, with a 2.5 times difference in the range of deviation on those. So there you go. There's our results.